superiority.
Alright guys, let's have a look at this TAC view now. Before we get started, one thing I want to talk about real quick, I don't know if you noticed in the video, but I did not drop my fuel tanks. I meant to. I clicked the button, or at least I thought I did, and I guess I pressed the wrong button and it didn't come off. Alright, so obviously that affected the aerodynamics of the plane, the weight, the G-forces, all of that stuff. So the point I'm just trying to make is drop the fuel tanks long before you get into the fight so that you're sure they came off, right? Because once you get into it, you're going to be paying too much attention to other things. You're not going to notice the fuel tanks. So that's one of the mistakes that I made here. Now, you can see I'm flying relatively low, trying to keep my altitude somewhat near the tip of the mountains, just so if they fire something I can quickly run away. One thing to note here with these Amraams that I'm firing, these are being fired without radar guidance. Okay, so I didn't lock anyone up inside my plane when I fired these. The way you do this is you press left Alt W, and what that is a launch authorization override. And what that means is the plane will fire these Amraams. Now they have radars inside them, so once you fire them, they essentially go pitbull right off the bat, and they'll track the first thing that they see. Now that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing depending on how you use them, right? In this situation, I know there's no friendlies in front of me, so I can just do this and it can kill whatever it wants, right? If there were friendlies, I would never be doing this because I can't control what this thing locks onto, right? But it's just a really nice quick way to just drop a bunch of Amraams and take out a whole bunch of targets all at once, right? The other disadvantage here is that you can't choose what they go after, as we said, which means you might get multiple hits on one target, right? The other thing to note here is that the Amraams were fired from very close range. All right, so what that means is that they have a nice burn as they go to the target. So they're not just free falling onto the target. They have burn, and you can see it in the speeds here. You can see this one is Mach 3.1, 2.5, 1.9, right? These are pretty decent Machs, and it doesn't give the MiGs a lot of reaction time, right? So let's just see what happens here. The MiGs obviously get those warnings. They start dropping their chaff everywhere. right? So the first MiG to die is this one right here. He gets the first Amram, and you can see I've dipped below the mountain here, right, just to keep myself safe once I've fired those Amrams. The first MiG to get it gets hit at Mach 2.8 because of how close I fired the Amrams, right? Good luck to him dodging a Mach 2.8 Amram, right? So this is why you want to fire them at close range if you're doing no radar guidance, right? So there he goes. There's the first guy. He's dead. The second guy, he's done a full 180. He's trying to get the hell out of here. And he has 2 Amrams on him. So like I said, you can't choose. You can't go one Amram per each target. It's just whatever they decide to do. So these 2 have obviously locked onto this guy. And he's got 2 Amrams at Mach 2 and 2.5. And he's dead, right? Good luck dodging that. And the third guy is right here, and he takes that Amram at Mach 2.7. So very quick missiles. Good luck dodging those. You can see there's all kinds of chaff in the sky here, but they still hit their targets. That's still 4 hits, right? 3 targets, but 4 hits. So that tells you a lot about how effective the Amrams really are. Now we get into the real juice of the fight here. Dodge this first missile. I got the flares going. That goes that way. I hit him with a Sidewinder. So he's out. Second missile, wasn't worried about that one. I'm dropping chaffs now as well, just to be safe. There's that R60M. I was a little worried about this one as it came in, but I did manage to just dodge it. So at this point I start to go vertical. This guy, he's Mach 0.5, doesn't have enough maneuverability to pull out, and he ends up hitting the ground here. Now I didn't know that in the battle. I thought there were still 2 guys left. I didn't know this idiot hit himself into the ground. So then I start pulling around. Now watch my speeds here. My speeds go really low, 0.2 Mach, right? So I think on the HUD that's like below 200, I believe. And as I'm like stalling out at the top here, I think there's another guy. I'm watching this guy. I think there's another guy flying around somewhere, and I am high above the mountains, right in the sky, low altitude, or sorry, low speed, which means I'm just a floating duck. Now, I'm worried if he fires off a missile at me in this situation, I'm an easy target, right? So I start popping the flares just to be safe, right? So that's just something to consider. If you ever accidentally stall yourself out, just pop some flares to be safe. That Sidewinder misses. We start coming around. Now a little bit further back, I don't know if you noticed here, but because of the low speed, right, I kept my head down so that I could regain some energy. Now I'm up to Mach 0.6. Right, I've got a little bit of energy so I can whip around. I'm hoping that I can nose up and get another Sidewinder off. There's that Sidewinder, it's off, and then I nose down again because I'm still low on energy. I get that kill. So he's dead, everyone's dead. And I end up taking just a second because I still don't know that that guy hit the mountain. I thought he was still out there. So I take a second just to see what's going on. I eventually pull up altitude and I see that nobody's trying to lock me up or nothing, so I just assume that that guy hit the side of a mountain somewhere. And when I'm looking at the TAC view, I saw that that was what happened. So that is why the F-15 is called a superiority fighter. Okay, this guy just took on 6 Mig-29s and made very quick work of them. Right? They barely had any kind of reaction time. Those first 3 guys were dead within seconds of me coming over the top of that mountain, right? So, and realistically, in an ideal scenario, 4 of them would have been dead. And in real life, if 3 of your buddies just blew up in a second, you probably would not stick around to duel this out, right? You would get the hell out of there as fast as you could, right? All right, guys. So that's going to be the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.